What's going on YouTube? This is the brand new Google Pixel 6a in this beautiful, beautiful sage color. Thank you Google for bringing back the sage. But there's been a lot of controversy. There's been a lot of talk about this phone's screen. There's been a lot of talk about 60 Hertz versus 90 versus 120. But let's be real guys, this is a mid-ranger and the Google Pixel 6a is super affordable at $449. And let's not forget that this also includes something that's never been done before. This is a flagship processor on a mid-range device. You also get a lot of updates. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. There's a lot to love about this device. So let's get into the Pixel 6a review. I've been using the brand new Google Pixel 6a here as my daily driver, and I gotta tell you, other than a couple things which I'll mention in this review, I really can't tell the difference between this and the Google Pixel 6 Pro. This has been an absolute pleasure to use, and of course the number one thing when it comes to using Pixel devices is of course this camera. This camera is definitely where it's at, but also a couple tweaks that Google throws into all of their Pixel devices really make the Pixel line shine in my opinion. Now let's talk about some of the things that I like about this phone. Number one is the screen at 6.1 inches. It is a 1080p panel, but everything is very contrasty. Everything is just really nice when it comes to watching multimedia, when it comes to just trolling the web or doing anything like simple tasks of sending a text message. Everything is just really, really nice on this panel. It's quite possibly one of the best panels that I've seen on a budget phone. Keep in mind, $449. Another thing that I really like about it is it's flat. I really hope that curved screens are a thing of the past. I really hope that the next flagship devices coming up in the next year or so are going to come back to flat. I'm over the curved screens, and this is just proof of it. It just feels really nice in the hand, and it just overall is a much better experience. Now, one of the things that Google removed on the 6a, which I'm not super happy about, guys, they got rid of that cool little accent color that was on the power button. That's been on the power button for quite a number of years of Pixel devices. So right now, maybe they're trying to grow up a little bit, but I hope they come back to being a kid and give us a little pop color next time around. But overall, guys, I think the design is really nice. On the back, though, this is a plastic device. It's not a glass sandwich like we're used to. This is an overall plasticky feel, which means that it probably will be able to take a hit, and that's one of the benefits to having a plastic device. All you really need to do is put a screen protector on the front, and if you want to rock your phone raw dog, you can go ahead and do so. But I always put on a case, and this Studia case is definitely one of my favorites right now. You get a nice amount of protection. And I think overall, if you put a case on top of it, this is going to be a very, very nice feeling phone. Once again, outside of the case, it does feel a little bit too plasticky for my liking. But again, I'd rather have a plastic back with no wireless charging that's going to be a little less brittle than a glass back with wireless charging. So you heard me right, no wireless charging on this device. Now speaking of heat guys and plastic and all of that nonsense, this device does get warm. This is a true statement. When you're using a lot of data, when you're using a lot of 5G intensive applications, maybe doing a speed test, watching your favorite JabberTech YouTube videos, you are going to notice that this device gets warm, but so do flagships. My other flagship devices also get warm when I'm using 5G quite intensively. So that's not something to be concerned. Google said it's just because they packed all of this goodness into a small frame, and I'm sure that Tensor chip does push out a lot of heat. Again, you're getting a flagship processor in a smaller body, in a mid-ranger, and I'd rather take a little bit of warmth over having a watered-down processor any day of the week. So even though it might feel a little bit warmer to the touch than your average phone, because once again, glass dissipates heat a lot better than plastic does, there's no reason to be concerned, but it does get warm. Even with the case, you are going to notice a little bit of warmth. Speaking of 5G goodness and connectivity, I don't have it here in place where I'm at right now, but you do have 5G ultra capacity on this. So you are going to get some really, really fast speeds. You also get Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E. So I think Google at this price point, they definitely gave us a lot of the high-tech features that we'd expect on devices these days, which means that with 3 years of updates and 5 years of security updates, as well as Wi-Fi 6 and 6E and 5G ultra capacity, this is a phone that you're definitely going to be able to keep for the next 3, 4, or even 5 years in my opinion. So once again, Google has managed to kind of future-proof this for at least the longevity of their security patches. I would have no doubt that this is going to last at least 5 years. Now that's all I want to talk about when it comes to build quality, when it comes to specs, when it comes to all of that goodness. This is the device that I've been super, super happy with. Now let's talk about one thing that Google fixed over the Pixel 6 in my opinion, and that's the fingerprint scanner. So the fingerprint scanner is definitely a lot faster and a lot more accurate than it was on the 6 Pro. I'll try that again for you guys. And yes, I am going to announce the elephant in the room. This does right now at the moment unlock your phone with different fingers. Now I haven't registered my index finger and it's unlocking my phone. So if I just go into settings here, you see I only have 2 fingers added here. And those 2 fingers are going to be my 2 thumbs because usually when I hold my device I unlock with my thumb. So there's one thumb. Let's do the other thumb. And that's unlocking. So those are the 2 imprints that I registered. Let's try that index finger once again, and that unlocked. Let me try my other index finger. And that one didn't unlock. So there is a little bit of an issue when it comes to the fingerprint sensor. Don't get alarmed, guys. Google is aware of this. They are going to fix it. There already is an update available, but I'm just not able to get it at the moment. And I'm sure Google maybe they're working on this, so they want to wait another couple days in order to fix that fingerprint issue. So don't be alarmed. If this is something you're concerned about, don't add any fingerprints at the moment. Just use the pin unlock. Again, Google is not going to let this device rest with the security breach, I'm going to call it. They are going to fix that fingerprint scanner. So don't really worry about that at all. Now let's talk about the overall use and overall enjoyment of this phone. Again, this is something that's been really, really snappy no matter what you're doing online, no matter what your habits are when it comes to using a device. This has been a very, very snappy processor. Again, it's the high-end Tensor processor that you'll find on the 6 and the 6 Pro. So anything you throw at it, 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage, you'll be able to do whatever you guys need to do. Speaking of multimedia, you do get stereo speakers. So you have a speaker on the bottom, and of course the earpiece is going to be right on the top, producing a little bit of sound. So let me let you guys listen to it. You can completely submerge these headphones in 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes. And they do have Soundcore Zone sweat-proof coating on them. And as someone who sweats a lot, I know you don't want to hear that, but if you're at the gym and you're working out, you're definitely sweating. You want to make sure that your headphones aren't going to get damaged because of sweat.
This message comes from NPR sponsor eBay Motors. It doesn't matter if your car is brand new or a vintage rumbler. There's always room to make improvements to take it to the next level and make it feel a little more like you.
If you wanted to use the 6A as your speaker and not connect any Bluetooth nonsense, it's definitely loud enough. And one of my tests that I always do is I always put it in my pocket and just go for a walk, and I'm still able to hear it even though it's in my pocket. So that's my pocket test when it comes to sound. Good job, Google, with the speakers on the 6A. I mentioned the camera in the beginning of this video, and Google's tried and true sensors here definitely do a nice job. Of course, Google's behind the scenes magic also help out with these photos, and that's what you buy a Pixel for mostly. When you ask anybody why they decided to pick up a Pixel device, it's always for these cameras. The camera's not going to be the same as the Pixel 6 Pro. The Pixel 6 Pro definitely takes some better pictures in my opinion. But this is a crowd pleaser. This is a very nice camera, and anytime you just point and shoot and it comes out as you'd expect, as you see it, that's always a win in my book. Now this is the front selfie camera of the brand new Pixel 6a. Walking through Times Square doing my thing, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and switch to a little bit of a close-up. That's the 1.4, and that's the 1X, just like that. Pretty cool. This is a 4K 30 test. Walking through Times Square, Pixel 6a. Zooming in. Wide angle. Now we're back to the normal lens, 4K 30. Max zoom at 5x. There's the wide angle. When it comes to the Google Pixel line, you're getting a lot of features that you're not going to get on any other mid-ranger. And one of those features that I really like is the camouflage and magic eraser. So let's say we took this photo and we get these people in my shot. How dare they get in my shot when I'm trying to take a photo? Magic eraser is going to automatically detect that, hey, there's some people in the shot that you might want to get rid of. So you can just go ahead and go erase all, and then your shot is going to be really, really nice. So just take a look at that. The people are gone. Definitely no more people in here, so I'm liking Magic Eraser. I think that's one of the better features when it comes to the Google Pixel Magic. Now again, this is my original photo, so you do see these people here. But let's just say maybe you wanted to camouflage this sign, and maybe these people were your friends. You could kind of circle them and have it kind of blend them into the background a little bit. So let's take a look at this dude's blue shirt. It kind of took the color away, so this way your eye does not focus directly on this dude. Google has a nice couple gimmicks up its sleeve, so that's something that I just wanted to point out to you guys. You also get a feature that's going to automatically recognize songs around you. Now, of course, for you privacy warts, you can go ahead and turn it off, but I think it's something super cool. It's just going to show you on the bottom of your screen what song is playing around you, and I think that's a great way to kind of add songs that you might like to your playlist when you're out and about. How many times you've been out and you've held your phone up to the speaker just to Shazam it? Don't be one of those people. You don't need to Shazam anymore. It's already built into the Pixel line. And of course you get awesome spam protection, and you can have your Google Assistant screen call anyone that comes to your phone. So again, there's a lot to love when it comes to a Pixel device, especially at this price. And also the interface is really, really clean. A lot of times on mid-rangers, you just get a whole bunch of wackiness when it comes to the UI and the UX, and it's just overall not usually a great experience. But thankfully with the Pixel devices, you are getting that Google launcher, which I think is pretty nice as well. And now, of course, you do get themed icons, but doesn't always work on every single icon there. But again, they're doing a nice job, and it is getting updated. They're doing a nice job with the overall interface. When it comes to a mid-ranger in this price point, you definitely don't see an awesome camera. You definitely don't get those 3 years of updates and 5 years of security patches. You definitely don't get an awesome build quality like this. You might get some fancy bells and whistles, I like to call it, like a 120 hertz screen or a 90 hertz screen. But that's only window dressing. Behind the scenes, you're not going to get updates. You're not going to get an awesome camera. You're not going to get a flagship processor. Google's Pixel 6a, in my opinion, is the best option, especially if you didn't want to get the 6 Pro and you wanted to get something a little bit cheaper, or you wanted to get something before the 7 Pro comes out. I would suggest picking up the 6a. It's definitely an awesome device. Now, when it comes to battery life as well, again, I've been using this mainly in a 5G UC capacity, ultra capacity zone in T-Mobile. This is available for Verizon with their millimeter wave, and that's a couple dollars extra. But I've been really happy with the speeds when it comes to the 6A here. I've definitely pulled some really fast speeds. When it comes to connectivity, this locks on very fast, a lot faster than the 6 Pro. When I'm in the subway and I get back out onto the streets, I'm already on 5G UC. So again, Google did a nice job with their connectivity chip in here. Now when it comes to battery life, this is an all-day battery life, 100% for sure. It's not going to be the battery life killer like the 5A was, just because we do have a more high-end processor in here. And quite honestly, it takes me into the next day for a couple hours as well. Day and a half if you're a light user, but definitely a day, even pushing this phone hard. I've never really ran out of battery before I got home at night. So I'm really happy with battery life when it comes to the 6A. Overall, this is really a phone that I've reached for more than my other phones. Number one, I do like the size. Number two, it definitely is well weighted, so it's a nice device to hold in your hand. The build quality, once again, is awesome. The cameras are awesome, so even if I take this device out and I leave my higher end flagship devices at home, I'm definitely going to be able to compete with them when it comes to photo quality. That's 100% for sure. But I like the battery life. I like everything about this device. And you're looking for a mid-ranger, and this is in your price range. Don't look anywhere else. Don't pick another device that might have a flashier screen, that might give you a little bit more in terms of bells and whistles. There's no more bells and whistles than getting support for 3 years and 5 years of security updates. There's no more bells and whistles than an awesome camera. There's no more bells and whistles than Pixel Magic. And that's what it's about when it comes to the 6A. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up, subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. But I appreciate it, and I'll catch you in another video.